Now, the most important thing when you're building the app is for the app to do something useful, is for the app to solve a problem, to issue a certain solution, to do something what the user wants the app to do. But you can't do that if you do not have the right data, because after all, building an app is about building logic around the data. And so in today's video, I'm going to be showing you ways that you can get free data via an API. And sometimes this is going to be the primary data in your app, but other times this is going to be auxiliary or secondary data in your app because you're going to be doing something else. But on the side, you're going to be pulling this data and manipulating it in ways that are going to help the user to achieve a certain goal. And so regardless what kind of tool you're going to be using, whether it's FlutterFlow, Bubble, appgyver, thunkable, backendless, or Bravo Studio, all of them have means of accessing third-party data using an API connection. And stay tuned until the end of the video where I'm going to be showing you my favorite API site where you can get tons of more amazing API resources for absolutely free. Additionally, I will have a list of all the tools and all the services mentioned in this video, and you can find that entire list on my Patreon page, which you're going to see a link in the description below this video. The first site I want to show you is News API, and this allows you to search worldwide news without code. So you can locate articles and breaking news from news sources, blogs across the web with our JSON API. And if you go into pricing, you can see that you have a developer account, totally free. You can start now and you can get this many requests. You have all of these features. And this is perfect for a site that needs to show some kind of news headlines. And you can build this functionality in pretty much any kind of app you're building as a way to provide some extra value to the user. And so here we have some sample requests. So for instance, you want to get all articles about Tesla from the last month sorted by the first. Okay, so this is what you do. You also have another article here, all articles mentioning Apple from yesterday, sorted by popular publishers first. So maybe you're building a site about Apple. Maybe, it's about something about Apple products. Maybe it's an e-store, e-commerce store about, selling Apple products. Well, here you can have articles, all articles mentioning Apple from yesterday. Or you can keep going and you can take a look here. You have top business articles in the US right now. So maybe it's a crypto site or some kind of a finance site. You want to show finance news. Very, very easy. And you can do it using your free API key. The next service I want to show you is a free OCR API and online OCR. OCR stands for optical character recognition. And this is a way for a computer to recognize text and actually take the text from like a PDF document or an image or a picture and turn that text into something that you can use inside of your app. So essentially, the obvious thing that you can do is start some kind of a web service, a SaaS app, software as a service, that scans text provided by the user. So here you can do that. It's a free OCR API. And obviously there are lots and lots of other applications using this tool. It could be a standalone tool like I talked about just moments ago, or this could be a functionality as part of a greater app where the app does one thing really well, but it also needs to scan this data, maybe a notes app, a to-do app, or something along those lines. Being able to have access to such technology allows you to build pretty much any kind of app and allows you to have lots and lots of different applications. Really, your imagination is the limit here. The next free API I want to show you is a Google Search API, okay? And this allows you to scrape Google and other search engines from our fast, easy, and complete API, okay? And so this allows you to issue a query and see the results in a certain location even. So for instance, if I type coffee and I go into, let's say, United States, right? I'm using Google's United States database. This is the results I'm seeing, and it's essentially fetching a live Google database. Okay. And let's say you want to search a New York database, right? You're going to have coffee, New York, New York. You're going to hit test search. And now you have responses in New York City location. Okay, so it's fetching it, and you're going to be getting it as a JSON format, which essentially allows you, and this is the case with all the tools we're talking about here, it allows you to parse and access the data regardless of what no-code tool you're using, FlutterFlow, Bubble, all of them do JSON. So as an example, this is the page that we essentially searched from. And as you can see, we have what looks to be lower Manhattan here. We have the coffee. We have coffee here. And this is the page that was scraped. As a result, it's showing us total results. What is that? 3.9 billion, it looks like. This is what we're seeing, time taken displayed. And essentially, we have JSON access to this page right here, which is incredible if you're building some kind of a search engine, you're building some kind of a local functionality, some kind of a travel app, really. And if you go into pricing, you will see that you have a free plan that allows 100 searches a month, which is a good way to get started and test your app, test the prototype, and then go from there. The next tool I want to show you is the zip code API, and this allows you free access to worldwide postal code data. And so there are situations where you want to ask the user for a zip code, and then from that zip code, get their approximate address, okay? So instead of asking the user for an address, you can ask them for a zip code and then let the user kind of fill out their street, number, building number, apartment, etc., etc. And so as an example, let's say I enter a New York City zip code, I search, I get various results, right? So I have this result right here, I have another result right here, I have another result there. It can mean many, many things. And if I scroll down, I will eventually see that this is also a New York City zip code, okay? And so here's another one. This is a Miami Beach zip code, and I'm getting a Miami Beach zip code here. And I have access to 5,000 free requests, worldwide data, 200 plus countries, scalable pricing. And so 5,000 free requests is not bad at all. This is a good time to start. Easy, it's lightning fast, up to date, easy to read REST API. And so maybe you're building an app having to do with location. You need to get some location data. Maybe you're doing maps. Anything having to do with geographical location, countries, cities, states, maps, delivery, pickup, anything like that, you will probably get a lot of value by using a tool such as this one. Now, the next tool I want to show you helps you verify email instantly. Okay, this is very, very powerful because you want to make sure that the email you're getting, the email the user is inputting is actually a legit email. You'll be able to contact them, right? Very, very important in situations. Maybe you're building an app that a user needs to register using their email and password, or maybe you are building some kind of an email client, email marketing app, something along those lines. So for instance, take a look at this. I can type an email. So let's say I do something random, something like this. I press enter and it simulates here a request. This is how a request would look like if you need to actually send a HTTP request. This is your request right here. Very, very simple. And this is the response. It's JSON response. Status is success. This means it was successful. But if we see the syntax is valid, right, because it's .com and all that, disposable false, webmail false, deliverable false, catch-all false. So it's all false. It's not even a disposable, right? Whereas if you're using like an email from a disposable service, it's gonna say true, and maybe it's a webmail, it's gonna say true. So let's say I try james@gmail.com. Okay, so it does that whole simulation of how the request would be sent, and we're getting back. And look what we have. We have status is success. That means it was successful, right? The service was successful. Domain is gmail.com. Valid syntax is true. Disposable false, but a webmail is true. And so in some situations, maybe you want the email, but you wanna make sure they're not using a disposable email, or maybe they're not using a webmail or anything like that. So that's kind of the thing. Deliverable false, catch-all false, gibberish false. So there you have it. So it's not only excellent for making sure that the email is valid syntax, but also checking, if a user is using disposable. Maybe you don't want emails from disposable emails because That email, those emails typically last like an hour or 2 hours or maybe even less, 10 minutes just for testing. And then later on, you won't be able to contact them, right? So that's a pain. Deliverable full, schedule full. So this is a very, very cool tool. Very awesome, very, very easy to use, and it's absolutely free. The next tool I want to show you helps you with worldwide phone number lookup and validation, okay? So here you have access to a phone number, right? And so you can enter a phone number, and this is the response you're getting. First of all, it's valid. It's going to tell you the country. It's going to tell you the carrier, and it's going to give you a location. So if we scroll down, we can try a check. So this looks like a US number. I hit check. This is the response I'm getting. Let's try something else. Let's try 1-800-555-1212, something like this. And this is the response we have. Valid is true, number is true, local format, international format, carrier, toll-free. And so this is an excellent service if you are getting people's phone numbers, or you have a list of phone numbers and you want to try to figure out where they're from, their geographical location, maybe a carrier, whether it's a toll-free number or not, lots of different things. And this API service kind of goes along the same lines as the previous services. It lets you validate whether a number is correct or not, whether it's correct format, it's a valid number or not. But also it lets you know some other additional information about the specific number. Really, really good API service. You can use that inside of your apps. Now, the next service I want to show you is a little different from the rest. And this allows you to auto-generate images with advanced image generation API or NoCode. Look at that. Dinah Pictures is a cloud-based solution for dynamic image generation. So you can generate images such as these right here. Okay, take a look at this. We have our text right here, and you can generate something like this using an API. And this should give you a lot of ideas right off the bat, because you can build a SaaS app that essentially asks the user to submit something like this, and you can generate this as a result right away. And so right here it says generate your first image. Here's a sample request that generates a customized image. You can modify text or links to images and click send request. So here we have format, we have parameters, we have all of these things. So if I send request, let's see what we get back. And so this is kind of what we get back. Look at this. We are getting this response, and we can actually click here and we can view this image. And this was generated using an API. And so if I send the request, this is the image I'm getting, right? So this is the image URL. So if we take this image URL, if we take a good look at it, this is the image that we're passing as a parameter into the API, right? This is kind of what we're passing. This is what we're seeing here. So this is generated using kind of the text here, right? All of this here is put in here, but the image that we're passing, and you can get a ton of images and just generate a bunch of like these kind of banners, thumbnails even if you want, using this API, right? So if we click on API references, you can have an idea, image templates, all of these things, image generation, you have webhooks, you have a lot of these things. So immediately, right off the bat, as you are listening to me explain to you all this, you should be getting lots and lots of ideas as to what exactly this does. You could be thinking to yourself, I can build a SaaS app. I can build a SaaS app to generate like thumbnails or generate, ideas or generate billboards or generate etc., etc., etc. You should be thinking about that because this is what the tool allows you to do. Now, the next tool I want to show you is called MonkeyLearn, and this allows you to do no-code text analytics. MonkeyLearn makes it simple to clean, label, and visualize customer feedback all in one place, powered by cutting-edge artificial intelligence. And so what this tool does for you is that it analyzes text and lets you know things like sentiment, things like category, various characteristics from unstructured text, basically just random text. It gives that text structure, and this also has an API access, so you can access it using an API. You can just feed a lot of text into it, and you're going to be getting API back. Now it says feedback analysis, but typically this is used for all kinds of analysis. So you can use this tool as a way to turn unstructured text into structured text relatively easily. So we have instant data visualizations, and detailed insights, pre-built and custom machine learning models. And if you don't know what a custom machine learning model is, do not worry about it. Just know that it's a way to easily categorize the text into the results that you want. And so this is a great tool as a way to use as a part of a greater app, or as a SaaS, as another tool, things like that. Anytime you need some kind of text analysis, text classification, you can use this tool. Next, I want to show you a tool called Nordigen. And this allows you to connect to bank accounts for free. One API, 2,381 banks. And so if you've ever used tools such as Quicken or Mint or similar type apps such as Revolut, stuff like that, all of these tools want to access your bank account, right? They want to access the data, but instead of them building the API to access a bank account, which is even against the law in some jurisdictions, they're going to be using a third-party tool such as this one to do it. And so if you want to build like a personal finance app or a business finance app, or you want to access a user's bank account to do something, to verify something using a third-party tool instead of doing it yourself, you can do it using this tool. So if you go into use cases, you have business finance, lending, personal finance, or something like personal finance. Empower users by making the management of their personal finances easy, convenient, and transparent with Nordigen's open banking platform. Empower users with insights to improve their financial well-being and literacy. And so this is an awesome tool to access financial institutions of the users. Okay, so if you go into pricing, you're going to see the best part. No trial period, no fees, free forever. Okay, so this is what you're getting. And if you want premium, let's say your app is super successful, you're making a ton of money, you're making it rain, you can get premium. But right now, I think for most of you out there watching it, you can start with this free plan, which is very, very generous. Next, I want to show you a very, very special API service that allows you to schedule a callback. Okay, so it says here, send us an API endpoint, we'll post back when it's time. Okay, so what exactly does this do? This is a very, very interesting service. And when I first discovered that, I couldn't believe there's a service such as this one, because it's going to simplify a lot of things out there, right? So what exactly does this do? Well, in a typical situation, when you have an API, you're accessing an API and you're getting data back, right? This is kind of what the other services do. In this case, you're posting an API and you're telling the service, okay, let me know, contact me in 5 hours, or contact me like in a week, or contact me tomorrow at 5 p.m. or something like this. And this is exactly what the service does. So if you go into documentation here, you will see. So if I scroll down, you will see a request, right? This is a sample route and this is a sample body. So I'm basically posting a request and I'm saying send at, etc., etc. And then I have a body string, maybe some kind of information. And this is the sample response. This is the response I'm getting, and this is my response right here. So I'm getting an immediate response, and then I basically said send at this is the timestamp, and then I'm going to get a response back. And this is perfect for many applications, right? Anytime you need to create a reminder inside your app, or some kind of an alarm, or some kind of a calendar where it's going to let the user know about something well in advance, right? You can build an app that has a timer, right? And those are short term, right? The timer is going to be maybe 60 seconds. A user is running the app and he or she sends the timer for like 10 minutes. So in 10 minutes, they're going to get a callback while the app is still running. But what if you want to have a reminder to your app, to your SaaS app, to your mobile app, to your backend, maybe Firestore DB backend, maybe some kind of a notification back to your mobile app in like a week or in a month or in 10 days. You can use a service like this to do exactly that. That is an excellent service. And if you go to the homepage, you will see you get 8,000 callbacks for free. And this is perfect for you to get started, to build a prototype, to see if there's a market for the app that you're trying to build, to kind of figure out who exactly is like your target customer and stuff like that, right? This is perfect to get started. And last but not least, I want to show you my favorite sites to get lots and lots of different APIs, right? And a lot of these APIs, they have very, very generous free plans. The site is called Rapid API. It's actually one of many so-called API marketplaces that you can use. So you can head over to rapid.api, you can sign up for your free account, and you can use all of these APIs. So if I go into top translation APIs here, I have tons of APIs. And let's say I want to use like Microsoft Translator. I click on it, I click on pricing, and I have a very, very generous free plan. I have 500,000 a month hard limit of $0 per month. And this is kind of how a lot of these APIs are. They have a generous free plan. Sometimes they give you like a ton of free API calls. Other times it's not as many, but still it's a good way to get started. If you go into Google Translate here, for instance, and we go into pricing, you have 500 per month limit, right? So this is 500 characters, whereas with the Microsoft Translate API, we're getting 500,000. So a lot more with the other service. And this is just quick example here, right? So if I go back to the home page, you have lots and lots of categories. You have lots and lots of APIs. You can have transportation, science, location, entertainment, travel, finance, sports, and data. We have flight data APIs. Like, take a look at this. Let's say we want flight data. We have 100% reliability. So let's say we want to use these guys. We come here, pricing, and we have a free plan. 400 a month, etc., etc. 2,000 a month hard limit. Free tier, basic, stuff like that. And then maybe you want something that gives you more, or you want more features, functionality. You can simply go back and try, let's say, flight data, 100% reliability. We can click on that. And this is absolutely free. It doesn't even have any plans. So you can start using it immediately. So this is an awesome, awesome site. And this is a site you should be browsing all the time. I browse this site like all the time just to get ideas, just to get my brain thinking, get the juices flowing. In terms of the apps that I want to build, using the APIs that I can access for free, at least initially on this site. And also make sure to take a look at the services I mentioned in the first part of the video. There's some great, great services. And most importantly, while you're looking at these services, you want to think to yourself, okay, what kind of app can I build using these services? That is something you want to train yourself to do, because that is something I do all the time. And that gives me ideas in terms of what apps I can build using the services, right? Kind of gets the juices flowing. So even if you're not going to be using translation APIs or flight data APIs, I'm still curious, right? Is there an app? Is there a use case where this specific API is going to be useful to me? And that is kind of what I'm thinking about all the time when I'm browsing these services. Now, I'm going to make a list of all the services that I talked about. You're going to find that list on my Patreon page, which you can access in the description, link below this video. And on the Patreon page, you'll get a lot of extra content. You're going to get access to all the FlutterFlow apps that I build, the future FlutterFlow apps, as well as other apps that I'm building, such as Bravo Studio and other app builders. You're also going to get access to all the Q&As, live streams, and a lot of extra content that's not going to be available publicly. And also that page is a great way to support the channel and support my work. Thank you so much for watching this video, and I'll talk to you in a future one.